What is up, everybody? Back with another Splatoon 3 tier list. Is going to be for, I think, Season 4, technically the 1-year anniversary patch, Drizzle Season 5.0.0. I don't know, we already had 2 Drizzle seasons now, so I don't know how we're actually going to tell both of them apart, but this is going to be a weapons tier list. It's going to be for your like S tier all the way up to X tier, and I will be talking about your lower tiers in this as well. This is not going to be a pro play or like competitive tier list for like LAN or that type of thing. This is going to be for your average ranked player, the people that want to get a really solid X ranked score or want to climb through the S tiers of ranked. So if you want your S tier or like S plus, you want to climb through ranked, this is going to be a good tier list for you. Or if you're like a lower ranked player and you want to really climb through the lower ranks quickly, just based off your weapon alone, that's going to be for this list as well. So if you guys like these videos, leave a like, subscribe, share the video. If these videos keep on doing well, I'll keep on bringing them to you guys with every new season or like every new major Splatoon 3 patch. Apart from that, I'll throw the list on screen for you guys right now. This is going to be the list. Got the S tier. This is going to be the stuff that is like the must play type stuff that needs to be nerfed. Kind of this the stuff you can kind of pick and has pretty much the easiest time winning. There's really no drawbacks of just picking it every single game and playing it every single match, no matter what the map is, no matter what your team comp is, and whatever. Also, with this as well, keep in mind this is going to be mainly a solo queue tier list, so keep that in mind as well. I know it's going to be a little bit different if you're like in a stack or whatever, but it's going to be majorly within the consideration of a solo queue tier list. So, then you got your A plus tier, which is above average stuff. A tier is your average, just average run-of-the-mill weapons, good on almost the majority of the maps with almost any team comp, that type of thing. B tier is below average, C tier is more situational, D tier is maybe only like good with one team comp or like maybe one map. That's the only reason you'll ever see it played. And then F tier is your weapons that are throw picks. These are weapons that need to have major buffs, or they are just weapons that you're going to be playing and they're just either way better options or there's no reason to play them at all. And if you are playing them, you are legit throwing your match. And hopefully you get banned for picking them in my ranked games, because I don't know about you guys, but every time I have a random sploosh player, like an arrow spray or like a silver arrow spray on my team, I get destroyed, and then I'm wondering why I lost, and then like, oh yeah, I have a silver arrow spray or like some loser on my team playing a weapon they should be playing. So if you don't want to be that guy, don't play anything in F tier. That's simple as that, pretty much. So that being said, this major patch as well, we also got a bunch of like 8 new alternate kits plus 2 new weapons. I'll be talking about both of those as well, the Dread Wringer and the heavy-headed Splatling. I'm actually going to be starting out with the heavy-headed, or the Dread Wringer here. I don't know how I really feel about the Dread Wringer. I think it's decent. Like, I do think it's decent. If you guys don't know, the Dread Wringer has a suction bomb and reef slider, and it's pretty much a slosher that throws like 2 sloshes at a time, kind of like one after the other instead of one. It has medium range. I think it has like around about the same range as the normal slosher does. I don't know. I think each of them does, I think, 38 to 42 damage. So I think with a little bit of damage, usually a 2-hit KO on most things. So I know that's with like no damage or anything. But like if you have like a little bit of chip damage, you're able to pick stuff off. And you also have like to follow up with the reef slider and stuff. I think the main thing that's really holding this weapon back, I just don't think it's that good. I really don't. I don't think this thing's going to really even be that good. I just don't see any reason to really pick this thing over like a normal slosher, or even like the majority of the sloshers in the game that just have better kits. I really don't. It gets dove kind of easily. Its fire rate really isn't the fastest either, and it just really gets ran down by a lot of the shooters. Its kit's decent. Like the suction bomb for this thing is really good, but the reef slider is kind of eh. The majority of the time, the reef slider ends up just getting you killed. It's decent for like getting picks and trying to take an area and that type of thing, trying to move up. But if you just get zoned out when you're in the reef slider before the ending frames, and you just get shot out of it and get killed before you're even able to react most times, or if you don't kill somebody and they just turn on you after the reef slider is done, you get killed most of the time anyways. That's the main problem with it. I think it needs a better special, and that's the main thing that's holding it back. But it's also really early, so we might see this thing rise up once people start getting a lot better with it. But as of right now, I probably put it like a B tier, just for the main sheer fact that I just don't think there's really much reason to play this thing. when you have way better slosher kits in the game with a lot of the other sloshers right now. Its kit really isn't the greatest. It's mid at best, but I don't know, especially with people not being that really good at it. It's a new weapon. It's going to take a while for people to actually learn the weapon, and a lot of people are just trying it out right now. You don't have anybody that's actually like dedicated to try to learn the weapon as of right now, at least that we know of, so. Next we got the heavy-headed Splatling. This thing's going into S tier. This thing, if you guys don't know what the heavy-headed Splatling is, pretty much what this thing is it is legit a Hydra Splatling that has a faster fire rate, better mobility, a faster charge time, and a better kit. It is pretty much whatever the Hydra Splatling should be. They pretty much took what the Hydra Splatling should be, and they made an entire new weapon out of it. It kind of reminds me of Paladins, because instead of like buffing a lot of their older weapons, they end up just making like an entire new champion instead of buffing all the older ones, kind of what they did here. Instead of buffing the Hydra Splatling or giving us like a better Hydra Splatling kit, they just took what this Hydra Splatling should be, and they made an entire new weapon out of it. They called it the Hydra, or the heavy-headed Splatling. I think this thing's crazy. If you guys get caught out in the open, or if you like are not behind cover, you need to really dive this thing. I think if you can get in close to it, it's pretty bad at close range. Like it can still fight at close range, but it can't get a full charge off, which is kind of the bad thing about it at close range. But like medium to long range, this thing just shreds. If you're not behind cover, or if you have no way to like not take damage from it and like try to get close to it, you just get shredded by this thing. The fire rate's crazy, its damage output is crazy, the tacticooler on it is really good as well, so half the time when you're able to get to it, you actually do kill this thing. They have a tacticooler boost, and they just spawn instantly again anyways, right away. So, like, that's another major problem with this weapon. I do not think they should have gave this thing tacticooler with how good it is. I think the main weapon itself needs to be nerfed significantly. Either they need to nerf the damage, or they need to nerf the fire rate on it. But then the problem with that is, if they nerf like certain things about this main weapon, then what is really different about it than the Hydra Splatling at that point? Apart from maybe the fire rate and like the charge time. I mean, I don't really know. I don't know how would you even really call this new weapon as well. I know a lot of people thinking this is a new weapon, but at least for y'all, like at least for me, it may be a new weapon, and it's considered a new weapon, but I don't consider it a new weapon. I really don't, because there really is not much different apart from the Hydra Splatling with this thing. A few minor changes, and then they're calling that a new weapon. I don't know. I really don't, but I think the only thing that's really majorly holding this weapon back is its sub-weapon. It has a bomb in the curling bomb, but like it's just mainly for mobility most of the time, and you're not going to really be using it for much else. It's a really like kind of useless sub-weapon most of the time. I think that's the main drawback to this thing, but everything else is crazy. This thing is going to need to be significantly nerfed, and it's probably going to be the best like mid to back line anchor type weapon in the entire game. Especially for your solo queue matches, like it's going to be absolutely fucking crazy. It really is. I think the only other thing that's maybe on its level is the ballpoint Splatling, and I'd probably put that in S tier too, wherever that is. I think that's right down here actually. The normal ballpoint Splatling, I'll actually put that into S tier too. I think that's the only other like mid to like long range backline weapon, at least from the Splatlings that are like on the same level of each other right now. And the problem with the heavy-headed Splatling too is it kind of makes all the other like heavy Splatlings kind of irrelevant, because there's just no reason to pick them now. And so it kind of pushed them down the totem pole, so to speak, as well, which kind of sucks. We got the Octobrush. I don't know what variant this is, if it's the custom Octobrush or whatever it is. The new Octobrush kit we got for Drizzle Season 5.0. This thing sucks. It is bad. I don't know. I'm putting it in F tier. I don't know why you'd play this thing. It has Beacon and it has Inkstorm, but like at the same time, why would I ever play this when there's another brush kit in the entire game that's just way better? Why would I play this? I don't know. Inkstorm doesn't do anything for this weapon because it already paints really good. It doesn't need much more paint. It's kind of useless on this weapon. And then the Beacon, you don't really want it. The Beacon, it had that in Splatoon 2 and it was decent, but it also had Tenta missiles. The problem with this thing is its special is just garbage, and it's useless for this weapon. If they would have gave it the Splatoon 2 kit of like Beacon and Tenta missiles, this thing would probably be like A+ tier at least. But they never did for some reason, because Nintendo's scared of getting giving out actual, like, different specials, apart from, like, 3 or 4 of them the last few seasons. So, got the custom YouTuber. This thing sucks. I don't know why you would ever play this thing. It has, I think it's Ultra Stamp, and I don't even know what the sub is. It doesn't even matter what the sub is. It's garbage. If you play that thing, you're throwing your match. The Gold Dynamo, this thing's still really bad, but I think if you want to play the Dynamo Roller, I'd probably put it in C tier because it's probably the best one in the game out of both of them. Because the normal Dynamo Roller is garbage. I should probably put that in F tier right now. I might as well, because you're never going to be playing that. So if you want to play a Dynamo Roller, it has Super Chump and it has Splat Bomb. Splat Bomb is decent on this weapon, but I think Super Chump is a garbage special apart from the paint it gives you. And this thing does not charge Super Chump very fast at all, with how slow your fire rate is and your swing rate is. I don't know, I just don't think I just hate the Dynamo Rollers. I think they're incredibly weak and really niche at best most times. I think for like there's a meme at this point, really. The Sorella Brella, I'm gonna put this thing in an A+ tier. This is probably the best kit a Brella has in the entire game, apart from like one of the 10 Brellas. If you want to play a Brella right now, I think the Sorella Brella with the Inkjet and I don't know, I think it's Torpedo or whatever it's... I don't know I forgot what the sub is, but I think it's Inkjet and... It's not Burst Bomb, I think it's Splat Bomb or whatever it is. Whatever the sub is, it's a good sub as well. I don't really play Brellas. You guys can't blame me for not knowing what it is, because I haven't touched a Brella in the entirety of the game, because I just don't play them, because how bad they are. But if you do want to play a Brella, I think right now, after a year of the game being out, there is actually one viable Brella you can actually play and maybe get away with it, just because the kit is just incredibly good. You got the Blobber Deco. I mean, I'll put this thing just mainly because this thing is probably the best Kraken weapon in the game. I think this thing has I think it's Torpedo or Kraken. I don't know. I'm not sure what the sub is, but I mean, it has Kraken, so like it's the best, the highest painting like Kraken weapon in the game out of everything we've got right now with the 96 Deco and the Kraken Splat Roller. If you want a Kraken weapon right now, I think you're going to be picking up the Blobber Deco. I think that's the best one right now in the game. Unfortunately, the main weapon kind of sucks. That's the main problem that's kind of holding it back. It doesn't really have much fighting power. It paint's decent, but you're kind of relying on getting cheeky kills and cheeky damage on people just that way to be able to try to kill them, and you can't really brawl really well compared to a lot of other stuff. We got the Sloshing Machine Neo. I mean, I'm putting this in D tier. I don't know why you'd play this thing. When the regular Sloshing Machine is in the game, which I'll probably throw that on the list right now, actually. When the regular Sloshing Machine has probably the best kit you could ever ask for with like Booyah Bomb and Fizzy Bomb, why would you ever play the Sloshing Machine Neo? I have no idea. There's no reason to play it at all. I'd probably throw the regular Sloshing Machine. This thing's fallen off a little bit. I'd probably throw it at A tier, though I think it's still really good. I don't know why you would play that over the regular Sloshing Machine. It's just outclassed by its normal variant. I think the major problem with a lot of the alternate kits for this update as well is that like the majority of the kits, apart from like the Brella kits, the majority of the kits are either like mid or they're just somehow worse than what like their original like weapon variant already has for a kit. So there's no reason to really even use them. But I think it's a major problem with a lot of these weapons. Ballpoint Splatling, the custom, I think it's the custom or whatever the alternate second kit variant is. And it has Ink Vac, and I think it has like Ink Mine. I think that's what it has. I don't know why you would ever use this thing. I mean, I'll put it at C tier because the main weapon itself is pretty good, but I don't know why you would ever run the second kit of the Ballpoint over the normal one when it has Inkjet and a bunch of other good stuff. And Fizzy. Got the Inkline Tri-String Bow. This thing has Super Chump and I don't know, I forgot what the sub is on this thing. I think it's Torpedo for a sub, or I don't know, it's either Inkline or Torpedo. I forgot what this thing actually is, but at the same time, I don't know why you'd even play this one. I really don't. Super Chump on this weapon's decent, but like the only thing you're really going to be using it for is for the paint. The damage on Super Chump is garbage, and it takes way too long to explode still. I think Super Chump is just a fucking awful special, I really do. A lot of people are going to disagree with me on that, but I think it's an awful special, I really do. I'll put it in D tier because I don't think it's as bad as like an F tier throw pick weapon. but there's just no reason to use it over like the regular one, which I'll probably rank right now. The normal tri-string bow, probably like an A tier. I think it's average. I just think Killer Whale and Toxic Mist are way better than what the Incline one gave us. I really do. I think that's a more consistent kit, and it combos way better than it actually we got for the second kit, which is really unfortunate because the tri-string bow is a weapon that really wanted a second kit for so long now, and it finally got one after a year, and the second kit just ended up being a fucking waste of time, garbage, disappointing mess. So, thanks Nintendo for that one. That's great. Got the Rapid Blaster. I'll put this as a C tier. I think it has Tri-Strike and Ink Mine. Not bad, but there's a lot of better blasters. Rapid Blaster Pro. This thing has, I think, Splash Wall, and I think it's Ink Vac. Now this thing's garbage. I'll put it. I think that's F tier. I don't think it's good at all, especially when there's another one in the game that's just way better. Clash Blaster, Throw Pick, really good kit, but man, does this weapon fucking suck ass. And it just never gets buffed, even a year into Splatoon 3, and the Clash Blaster has not got one single meaningful buff in the span of a year. Shame on you, Nintendo. Shame on you. Range Blaster, I'll put it in A tier. I think it's average, along with the regular Blaster. I think these are both average weapons, and you're going to be seeing them. I think they're good on one of the new maps as well. I don't know what the names of the new maps are, but they're good on one of the new maps. The Blasters have a really good time on one of the maps because there's a lot of like see-through grates and like bridges and type stuff that you can actually use to use a blaster to actually get people off of like high ground and stuff, which is really good on one of those maps. So you're gonna see the blasters maybe a little bit more on those maps, or especially in towers. Luna Blaster, garbage, F tier. You got the Octo Brush. Decent in clams, I'll put it at a C tier, but apart from that, you're not going to see it very much. You got the Octo Brush. I think I said Octo Brush for the Ink Brush. I meant the Ink Brush. Now the Octo Brush, I'll probably put that. It's like a C tier as well. GooTuber, I'll put this thing at a D tier because its kit's better than the alternate kit it got for this patch, but that's not saying much. I still think it's incredibly bad. I think the only reason you'd ever run it is for the missiles, but even then it's, I don't know. Bamboozler, man, a year into the game and this thing still has not got one meaningful buff. That's a shame. Probably one of the coolest weapons in the entire game, and it has not got anything, and it's been garbage for the entirety of Splatoon 3. Again, shame on you, Nintendo. I'm really regretting, like, I'm dreading when they're actually going to give this thing a second kit as well for, like, the Bamboozler, custom Bamboozler, or whatever they have for the second kit for this thing. By the time it actually gets a second kit, though, it probably won't be for another year. But when it does, I have a really bad feeling it's going to be another garbage kit for this thing. In a perfect world, they'll give this thing, like, Burst Bomb and, like, a really good, like, Inkjet or, like, something. I don't know. But if I were to guess, they're going to give it a garbage kit, and it'll be even worse than it is now. Got the E-Leader, A+ tier. Actually, I'll put all the E-Leaders in S tier. I think all the E-Leaders are crazy. Both of the E-Leaders are crazy. Same with both of the Chargers, the Splatter Scope and the Splat Charger. They're all crazy right now. Really, really, really good. If you know what you're doing as like a backline or a support anchor, like if for your team, you're crazy, and especially if you land the majority of your shots and able to get free kills. Classic Swiffer, B tier. Dualies Squelchers, still no buffs for these things. I wouldn't say they're bad, but man, are they ink hungry. The Gluga Dualies, F tier, throw tier. Let me guess, another weapon that's not going to get a second kit probably until another year from now, and when they do, it'll be a garbage second kit. When are the Gluga Dualies ever going to get buffed to? It's been an entire year, and the Gluga Dualies have not got one balance change in the span of a year. Another L. That is 3 weapons in a row that are a huge L for Nintendo after a year. It's not good. Splat Dualies, I'll put an A+ tier because I think they are some of the better Dualies in the game right now. Dapples, B tier. Got the Dark Tetra Dualies, I'll put them in an A+ tier. Carbon Roller, garbage. Really bad. Flings, I'll put it a B tier, just mainly because it has missiles. Splat Roller, I'll put it a C tier. Very map situational, and if you can't pop off with it, it's garbage. Splatana, Wiper, this thing's going to D tier just because it gets outshadowed by its other kit. Splatana Stamper, I'll put it in A+ tier. This thing has seen a rise again over the last, like, few months as well. It got heavily nerfed and people are back to playing the shit out of it again. I do think it's going to rise up a little bit more and it'll have to get nerfed again. Something about it will have to get nerfed again in the near future, but as of right now, I'd probably say it's an A+ tier. I don't think it's broken tier worthy, but if people keep on playing it again and it keeps on rising up, I think it will be needing to be nerfed again. Undercover Brella, this thing's a throw pick. Brella, throw pick. Tent Brella, throw pick, garbage. Silver Arrow Spray, garbage. Splattershot Pro, put it in A tier. I think this thing is actually a really solid, like, average weapon. Nothing crazy about it though, just like the definition of like an average weapon. Same with like the Forge Splattershot Pro right here. I'll put that on the list as well. Yeah, I'll put that up in A tier as well. I think both of them are like the definition of like an average weapon. Custom Junior, actually really bad right now. This thing actually went from being decent to being absolute garbage just because Big Bubbler just is not good and just lacks fighting power right now. And just being able to spam bombs just isn't good enough. Squeezer is underrated, but underplayed. Really, really underplayed. I'm not going to put it in F tier, but I think it's really, really underplayed for some reason. 52 Gal, I'll probably put that in like an A tier. I think that's really average, but pretty damn good. 96 Gal is a throw pick. Really awful kit. Jet Squelcher, this thing is really bad. Splattershot, I'll probably put that in an S tier. I think Splattershot right now is crazy. Especially with the buffs they gave it for the mid-season patch for this past season. Crazy. Just play if you want a shooter to play that kind of can win the majority of your games by just playing, pick the Splattershot, it's great. Splash-O-Matic, this thing's going to A+ tier. Actually, I'll probably put it S tier. I think it's still probably the best crab farming weapon in the entire game. It's just still way too consistent, even after the slight nerfs they gave it. Still really good. NZAP 85 going to A+ tier. This is the best tactical weapon in the game, even with the slight tactical nerfs. And I think some of the nerfs to Last Ditch Effort. I'm not sure if they were running Last Ditch Effort with NZAP 85, but even with the slight nerfs to Tactical, I think this thing is still incredibly good. And is probably the best Tactical weapon in the entire game still. Sploosh, Sploosh, garbage. H3, Nozzle Nose D, garbage. L3, garbage. Blobber. I mean, like, I'll put it in C tier, but I don't know why you would actually run the regular Blobber over the one with the Kraken now. Tri-Slosher, one of the better inkjet weapons in the game. I'll put that in an A tier. The regular Slosher, I'll probably put it in A+ tier. Really good kit and a really solid main weapon. I'll probably put the, I forgot what this weapon's called, but I'll probably put this A+ tier. I think it's fallen down actually a little bit. Actually, I don't know why it actually really uses as a little bit of like a backline weapon. I really don't. Especially when there's like a lot of, like, why would you play that over the heavy-hitted Splatlings or like even the ballpoint or all the Chargers as a backline? I really don't know. Hydra, man, this thing has fallen off. I think if there was one weapon to say that was absolutely fucking ruined by a new weapon, it is probably the Hydra Splatling. There is absolutely fucking no reason to use this thing at all. There is no reason to use this thing at all. Why would I play a Hydra Splatling when I can play the heavy-hitted Splatling and it does everything the Hydra Splatling does, but just better? I have no idea. It is a weapon that has been completely power-crept and outshadowed by a brand new weapon. When in reality, the brand new weapon, quote-unquote, should not even exist. And all of those changes should have been to the Hydra Splatling. And those should have been buffs or changes to the Hydra Splatling to make it better. But instead they made an entire new weapon instead of making buffs to the Hydra for some reason, because they maybe thought that was easier or whatever, but I don't know. Mini, garbage. I'll put that in F tier, garbage. Nautilus, I put that in B tier, solid, but nothing crazy. The Hydra, or the regular Splatlings, has just really fallen off this patch. They really have. I'll put them in B tier because they aren't too bad, but they've really fallen off. Got the Reflux 450. This thing's got some mini buffs, but even then, I don't think it's that good. I'll put it as C tier because I do think it is more consistent and better than it was, but you're not going to be seeing it very much. Luna Blaster Neo, I think, is solid. I'll put that at an A tier. I think if you want to play one of the Luna Blasters, I think the Luna Blaster Neo is the best one. Got the Octobrush, Nanival, really bad. The Sniper Raider is probably one of the weapons that's seen like one of the most resurgence over the last like 2.5 months since I made the last tier list. And that's mainly because Tacticooler comps, and this thing is decent on Tacticooler comps. If you do not want to run like a frontline Tacticooler weapon, you can run this thing as like a backline, and you still have the Tacticooler on your team for a special, which is something you probably want with some of your comps. I know that's not really saying much though, because I still think it's really bad. And now that the heavy-headed Splatling is in the game too, it pretty much does this thing's job 10 times better, and it also has Tacticooler. So then again, now you're getting outshadowed again by another new weapon. So I don't know how that's really going to affect this thing. I'll put it at a B tier right now though, just because I think it can maybe work on some teams. We got the other blue Dapple Dualies. I'll put them in B tier. I don't think they're that good right now. Custom Carbon Roller. I'll put that in A tier, A+ tier. Big Swig Roller, garbage, F tier. What else we have? We have the Gold Arrow Spray. This thing's a throw pick, F tier. Custom Junior, probably one of the better Wave Breaker farm weapons, but that's all it really has going for it. T-Tech Splatter Shot, that's going right up into S tier. Right on up into S tier. Similar to Splatter Shot. Same thing. Splatter Shot Nova, really bad. I don't know, Slosher, Nanival. I don't know, I'd probably put that like a C tier, but just kind of outshadowed with other kids. The Zinc Mini, I'll probably put it at a D tier. Decent, but nothing crazy. Custom Blaster, or the Custom Range Blaster, I guess. I don't know. I think it's just mainly because the Inkjet, I probably put it in A tier, but it's already got its special nerf like 2 patches in a row. I don't know, the least for the points. Custom, or the Clash Blaster Neo, garbage. Firefin Splat Charger and the Firefin Splatter Scope. And I'd probably put those right on up into S tier along with the other chargers. I forgot to do that earlier. Actually. I should put those right up into S tier. Kraken Splat Roller, there's really no reason to play this thing when you got another new Kraken weapon in the game that's 10 times better. Same with the 96 Gal Deco. Custom Jet Squelcher has a better kit than the other one, so I'll put it a bit higher in it. It's decent in some zoned maps, and on certain maps I'll probably put it like a C tier. Splash Neo is still really good. I'll probably put that at an A+ tier. It's still really, really good. And Zap 89. The problem with this thing is it farms a special, but its special sucks. The Super Chump is a garbage special. I don't give a shit what anybody says. It is one of the most underwhelming specials in the entire game. It really is. It's not really, I wouldn't say it's one of the worst specials in the game, but man, it's probably like maybe top 5 worst specials in the game. I think only like above probably like Reef Slider and like Ink Vac for specials. I think it's probably the 3rd worst special in the entire game right now. Sploosh Neo, garbage. L3 Nozzle Nose. Or Cherry L3 Nozzle Nose. I'll probably put it a D tier because it has a better kit. Tri-Slosher. This is another one with Tacticooler. Another Tacticooler weapon, and probably the 2nd best Tacticooler weapon in the game. I'll probably put it in A tier because it doesn't farm Tacticooler as good as the NZAP 85 does. But it's still pretty damn good. We got the Rapid Blaster Pro. I think I said custom blaster for that other. That other one was the Rapid Blaster, the custom Rapid Blaster. I forgot about that with the Inkjet. I think I called it custom Range Blaster. That's my bad. Rapid Blaster Pro, I put it like a B tier. I think this thing's solid. If you want to use one of those. S-Blast 89, this thing was an absolute disappointment. It was seeing play when it was first released, and then it completely fell off. It really did. I'll put it in like a B tier because I don't think it's garbage. But man, I think it's the one thing that's holding it back is its kit just fucking garbage. Sprinkler's awful, and Reef Slider on this thing just sucks. It needs a better kit. And by the time this thing gets a better kit, it probably won't be like another 2 or 3 years until the game's lifespan before it gets probably a 3rd kit or 2nd kit or whatever. And by that point, I don't know, there'll probably be like 10 other new weapons in the entire game. And some of them might be blasters, and then it just might be outshadowed again, so. The paintbrush, I think the paintbrush is solid. I'm putting the paintbrush in A+ tier. I really do. I think this thing's really good. Really slept on, really underrated weapon that is really good. It has a really solid kit and does really solid damage. The only thing is it lacks is a little bit of mobility and a little bit of a fire rate. But if you can make up and kind of play around both of those, it is still really, really good. Custom Dualies Squelchers. Same thing as the other ones pretty much. Just kind of pick or choose whatever you really want. They're both kind of the same. Light Tetra Dualies. These are the ones that have the Zipcaster. A tier, average, nothing crazy. I think Zipcaster got a bit of a buff as well, but even then, it's not that good. Big Swig Roller Express, that's going to A tier. Nothing crazy. Just really solid kit, though. I think it's the biggest thing for the big Swig Roller Express is really good in zones. Just with how much paint it does, but apart from that, you're not going to see it very much. Splatoon Wiper Deco, I'm probably going to put in A tier. Really solid for farming missiles, but apart from that, it's kind of seen a little bit of a drop off. Alternate Tembrella, I'll probably put that at D tier because it's not as bad as the other one. Its kit's okay with the Trizuka and whatever. Anarchy Splatter Shot Nova, this thing got the shit nerfed out of it and it's garbage now. The only reason to play this thing was for Inkjet spam, and they nerfed the only reason to play it into the ground. Why would you play it now? I have no idea. It's garbage. F tier throw pick. We got the Cherry H3 Nozzle Nose D, really bad weapon. Garbage. And then you got I think it's, or the Hydra Splatling Deco. I was going to say custom Hydra Splatling. It's Hydra Splatling Deco. I probably put it with the other one, right beside the other one in B tier. I think the Hydras have kind of fallen off with the addition of the heavy edit Splatling into the game. That's how good that thing is. And there you have it, everybody. That is the tier list for 5.0.0 Splatoon 3 Drizzle season. Let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. If there's something I forgot to mention, let me know in the comments, or if there's something I forgot to talk about, as well as leave your own list in the comments down below. It's actually one of more of the faster lists I've did, just mainly because not really much has changed. I think the balance with this game right now is really, really bad. A lot of the weapons are, like, look at half this list. Like, don't get me wrong, S tier ain't too bad, but, like, a lot of this stuff needs to change. A lot of these 3 shooters need some major nerfs. I think the chargers need some changes. The ballpoint needs another nerf. And then I think the heavy edit needs some significant nerfs, because it's crazy. I mean, it could be worse. S tier could be worse, though, but, like, look at how bad, like, the rest of the weapons are. Like, there's a solid, like, 20-something weapons in, like, F tier that I just think are garbage. Like, look at all the weapons that are, like, C tier and below in the game right now. That are, like, just niche at best, or just, like, borderline throw pick, or just full-on throw pick weapons. The balance with this game just sucks. I think the main problem is they refuse to address any of the balance with, like, some of the other, like, garbage-type weapons. Like, all these weapons down here, they all need buffs. They all need some type of buff, and they just haven't got a buff in an entire year of the game being released up until this point now. And they have been garbage ever since day one of Splatoon 3 being released. Stuff like the Gluga Dualies, the Bamboozler, some of the Brellas like the L3, the H3 Nozzle Noses, like arrow sprays. Like, there's a bunch of shit here that's just so bad. I don't know. I mean, at the same time, people are sitting and praising the balance for this patch. If you're one of the people that's praising the balance for this patch, the few balance changes we did get, like, I think you're part of the problem, because there's so much other balance changes they could do to buff some of these other bad weapons that just never get played or never get seen at all. And they just never change anything. Stuff like the Clash Blaster, too, is a bit garbage for so long. I don't even remember when the Clash Blaster was actually good. I think the last time was maybe there was a small point in Splatoon 2 when it was decent. And then I think it got nerfed in the ground. It's never been decent again. I don't know. I feel like they just need to do a lot more balance changes in, like, the buff department. Like, start buffing some of these fucking garbage weapons, please. If anybody from Nintendo is watching this tier list, please. Because the balance with this game is still really, really bad. Don't get me wrong, it isn't as bad as it was on, like a year ago on release. I think it was a lot worse back then. there's a lot of stuff you can play now that's you can play and probably get away with as long as you're decent at playing it. Like, there's a decent amount, like the middle tiers, like from like B up to like A+. There's a solid amount of weapons in these tiers. But having so many weapons in like C tier and below is just not good for the game. And that's like the majority of your weapons. That's like 30, 40 weapons there that are just not good to play. I don't know. Let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. Leave a like, subscribe, share the video. Really appreciate it. Apart from that, if you guys not want to miss anything, I also stream Splatoon 3 over here on the channel. I also do have a Twitch. Go over there and follow me. Link in the description. Same with the channel Discord if you guys want to go over there and hop in the Discord. Link to all that in the description down below. Same with the Twitter if you guys want to go over there and follow me. Apart from that, I'm going to get out of here. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys in a future video.